When I got to Puerto Cayo, I thought I had found everything, and I realize I still think I have found everything. Puerto Cayo is what I've always dreamed of. It's like a place that's stuck 40 years behind. The people here use traditional ways for everything. There are no ATMs, there are no banks, there's small stores. We have to go out of town for most everything. So, but it's tranquilo. It's tranquilo aquí. So I like it a lot. Cuando llegué en Puerto Cayo, I met a Chilean surfer who that taught me how to surf. I bought my first surfboard, which I still have, and I've been teaching myself ever since. Just 2 weeks ago, I stood up for the first time and rode a wave all the way in. So I'm getting there. I got friends that are gonna instruct me too. I get free lessons, so it's all good. And since my last video, I have continued to try to live in the moment and be in the now as much as possible, and it has worked out fantastically. I think the more you can live in the now in life, the better off you'll be. The more you can reel it back in and just enjoy that very moment. That's where life is, and that's where you're gonna experience it. My friend Nico, I consider my maestro para vivir en el momento. Living in the moment. Yeah, as a young surfer, that's what he does. He follows the waves. You know, that's all that matters to him. And I spent a month and a half with hanging around Nico and following him around, and we explored and did all kinds of fun things. And he taught me a lot. In November, I was robbed on a bus. I was on a bus going from Machala to Guayaquil in the middle of the night, and 3 armed men robbed everybody on the bus. Took my brand new iPhone 7 Plus with 128 gigs and $400 for me. So, again, gotta be in the moment. I figured it out, todo bien. Also in November, I moved out of Casa Ana, which was the place where I was doing volunteer work for Room and Board, and moved into a house in town in Puerto Cayo. I live in what's called La Ciudadela, and it is a part of town that was one time owned by rich vacationers. Currently, it's very local. It's a beach area. It's right on the beach. I love it here. Rent is cheap in Puerto Cayo. Look to pay probably $200 to $300 for a house here. If you go to the gringo areas, you'll pay $500 or more for a smaller place, but if you don't mind learning the language and getting into the local scene, it's a lot cheaper and you'll enjoy yourself a lot more, I think. The holidays are an interesting time in Puerto Cayo. New Year's is the kickoff for summer here, and it's a huge celebration. The fiestas starting at New Year's and continuing on last all night. They start at about 10, 11 o'clock and go until 7 in the morning. There was that festival, Cayo Fest, there was Carnival, and in about a month there will be one more for the season. But we've had 30,000 people here at one time. The whole Ciudadela was full of people and cars and vendors. It was insane. But I mean, it's a town of 3,000 people that hosted 30,000. Well done though. They after the shows and after the fiestas, everything's cleaned up, back to normal, back to tranquilo surfing. Buenísimo. I'm working on starting a business here, and I just bought a truck. I just got my visa finally after 8 months. I got my professional visa, so I'm officially a resident of Ecuador. So todo bien allá. It's been going pretty well. Just trying to get things settled and get things figured out. I'm working on my driver's license now. I also need to get a cedula, which is a national ID card. So I'm supposed to wait 2 years for my cedula, but I really need it now, so I'm going to apply for it early and see what I can do. So life goes on. It's always an adventure in Ecuador.